Rick and Morty is one of the biggest cartoons of recent memory. It exploded onto the scene and keeps fans coming back for more and more. The show garnered quite the following with the first 2 seasons, and now people are excited to see what's coming next. And we would all get a taste of that on April 1st, 2017, as Adult Swim ran the very first episode of Season 3 over and over, fooling everyone. Besides the episode blowing away everyone's expectations, there's also something we want to talk about within that first episode of Season 3. And yeah, that's the Szechuan sauce, which does come from McDonald's. So with that in mind, this week on Cartoon Conspiracy, we want to ask the very interesting question, is Rick and Morty Season 3 Episode 1 a subliminal advertisement for McDonald's? As we all know, Rick and Morty is a show that breaks the fourth wall at like every opportunity. Just off of memory, it happens in the pilot episode, Lawnmower Dog, Me Seeks and Destroy, Anatomy Park, Raising Gazorpazorb, Rixty Minutes, and Rixie Business. And that's just Season 1. Don't even get us started on Season 2. It happens a lot. We've even done a theory here on Channel Frederator talking about Rick knowing that he's in a cartoon. Yeah, it gets crazy. So this behavior isn't that out of the ordinary, but before we do jump into this theory, let me give you a little backstory on that sauce. Back in 1998, there was a little movie that came out by Disney called Mulan. You might be familiar with it. Well, it came out and McDonald's decided to partner with Disney to promote the movie and their food. They ran advertisements on TV. It was a huge deal, and actually this sauce goes specifically by the name Mulan Szechuan sauce. The sauce was exclusive to McDonald's but then left the establishment after the movie left the theaters. The sauce was a success and people really enjoyed it, but we haven't seen it go back into McDonald's since, and usually with things that people like, we see them come back, right? So now it's the year 2017 and it's a very different time, and advertising is very different now as well. There's the internet and other means to get your products out there. Remember LA Beast championed Crystal Pepsi for years and years and got Pepsi's attention and then they brought it back? Things like that can totally happen. Trends will take off and go viral. And seemingly sometimes for absolutely no reason. I'm sure Richard Dawkins would have a ton to say about this, but honestly, that's for a different time. You take this new way of advertising a product and pair it with Rick and Morty, an absolutely huge show, well, you're bound to set off a huge internet chain reaction. That's what we think McDonald's has done here with this seemingly forgotten sauce. Let's just think about this. Could Adult Swim and worldwide corporation McDonald's strike a deal together to promote this seemingly forgotten sauce and test the market? If McDonald's randomly brought back this forgotten sauce, it would have suffered one of 2 fates. The first being the fact that this sauce actually came out a staggering 19 years ago, so people might not remember it, but maybe Disney is somehow involved in this as well, because if you recall, just a few months ago, a live-action version of Mulan was shown to be in the works. It's completely possible that they're on board as well, and they're all trying to push this product. So besides Rick and Morty, they could be promoting this sauce by other means as well. And the second thing being that it could just be reintroduced to the menu and be as popular or as unpopular as any product on there, which if you think about seems like a huge risk and gamble to take. So why not take this over the top and crazy route that, if it works, could bring you a lot of success? And as of late, word is that the old company isn't doing as good as they once were. Granted, they're still raking in the cash, but it's nothing like it used to be. So throwing new things at the wall and seeing what sticks could totally be in the cards. Rick and Morty is one of the most popular shows of recent memory, right? These characters in this show are so marketable, and just about everything Rick says can be slapped on a shirt and sold for a few bucks, which I'm sure Adult Swim really likes, but I'll be honest, my wallet really doesn't. So why not have Rick in Rick and Morty, this extremely popular show, take on this new mantra of wanting this sauce and solely seeking out this sauce and having it be his new main mission? Also, we're just gonna throw this out there, spoilers for the newest episode of Rick and Morty, so if you haven't seen it, you've been warned. In Season 3, Episode 1, we see Rick tell Cornelius Daniel about this special sauce while being in a brain link in the past. While being in this brain link and in the past, Rick drives to a McDonald's and gets his hands on this very desirable condiment. Keep in mind that Rick cannot get his hands on this special sauce unless he goes back into the past like he does in this very episode, because it's not obtainable in the modern day. While we're going back into the past with Rick in his memory, we see a memory of both his wife and his daughter being killed. Rick actually goes and tells Morty that that wasn't his motivation. His motivation was for that special McNugget sauce. I want that Mulan McNugget sauce, Morty. It's my series arc, even if it takes me 9 seasons. This is huge and could prove that the rest of the season is going to serve as a blatant advertisement for the food chain. In this episode, we see Rick have the opportunity to save his wife and his daughter and right the wrongs of his past and interact with a past version of himself, but he doesn't. He trades all of that in just for another taste of this very special and extremely desirable sauce. If you couldn't tell, this episode really builds this sauce up to be like the next big thing.
Wow, this sauce is f***ing amazing. You said it was promoting a movie?
Rick even goes to crazy lengths to say that this is his series arc. This is what the show is all about. The main character comes out and addresses the audience that this is where things change. The show is going to be completely different from this point forward. He could potentially give his life and die over this sauce. He's willing to do anything for it. Even if it takes him 9 seasons, nothing will stop him. In Rick and Morty, we know both of our characters, both our Rick and our Morty, to be from dimension C137, right? What if for the rest of the series, or at this point season 3, because honestly we know Rick to be a guy not to really stick to his guns too much, so things can change at any moment. In the rest of season 3, what if we see Rick trying to bring his message to McDonald's and the actual corporation gets involved with it? So as per usual, Rick and Morty go on all kinds of crazy adventures in dimension C137 and beyond, but do end up at the McDonald's headquarters in their dimension and start to negotiate with the people there. And throughout this entire process, somehow Rick convinces McDonald's in dimension C137 to bring that sauce back. Sounds cool, right? Rick keeps his promise, he gets his sauce, and he goes to great lengths to achieve it, but what if there is more to this sauce being brought back in the show than what is just being seen at face value? Because let's be honest, Rick and Morty is a show where we think we know what's going on for the most part, but Harmon and Roiland are just constantly laughing at us. What if this confirms that our dimension and the characters in this beloved show share the same universe and dimension of C137? But what if when this sauce gets brought back in Rick and Morty's dimension C137, the sauce simultaneously gets brought back in ours? Wouldn't that bridge the gap between both of them, confirming that they are the same dimension and we share the same one with Rick and Morty? We think so, and there's actually a lot of positives to this on both sides. Rick gets his hands on the sauce and his main goal in life finally, and for fans of the show, we get to finally taste that sauce that is rumored to be so delicious. And on the other hand, McDonald's gets more people into their establishments, selling food, selling this sauce, making the company more and more money. And the whole time, they just had an underlying deal with Adult Swim and Rick and Morty the whole time. Animation ain't cheap, and maybe Adult Swim didn't want to keep dumping money into this show, so they asked McDonald's to step on board and fund the rest of it through this underlying promotion. This promotion is so absurd and so out of this world, it wouldn't seem out of place because that's what Rick and Morty is, right? This all sounds fantastic, right? But let's see how this theory holds up in the breakdown. This theory sounds great, right? But there is one thing that I feel could totally block it, and that's the fact that this show always throws us a curveball, as we hinted at in this video. They're constantly throwing crazy stuff in the mix, and this really doesn't seem like it wouldn't be in the cards for them. Whenever us fans think that we finally figured out this show, it turns out to be something completely different in the long run. I mean, remember in season 2 when Mr. Poopy Butthole gets shot and we're like, oh, he's dead, he's gonna die, and then after the credits he's not. So with all of this information gathered, it sounds great, right? But at the same time, it seems a little far-fetched, so at this time, I'm going to give this theory 2.5 Szechuan sauce packets out of 5. I'm kind of in the middle of the road, and we're just gonna have to see how things develop as the show continues. But hey, that's just what we think, and we wanna know, what do you guys think? Leave us a comment in the comment section down below, and let us know. Did we crack the code to Rick and Morty? Is there more to this theory, or is this just completely crazy? Do you think there's crazy stuff going on behind the scenes with this sauce? Do you think McDonald's has a dog in the race? Keep in mind that there have been advertisements with Rick and Morty in the past, with Carl's Jr. and with Monopoly to bring the classic game to life in a crazy new style. But we want to know what you think, so let us know in the comments below. While you're down there in the comments, if you have a cartoon conspiracy that you want us to cover here on Channel Frederator, let us know. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future episodes of Cartoon Conspiracy that post every Thursday, as well as our daily uploads. Click that little bell icon to become part of that awesome notification squad, and if you want more from me on my personal channel Stuff with Scoutfly, you can check out the description where you'll find a link there. I'm Justin, aka Scoutfly, and never forget, Frederator loves you.